Hey guys, it's Ken from OK Portugal, and today I'm going to be taking you on a detailed walkthrough tour of a great little property in the village of Casal da Serra. Nestled high up in the Gardunha mountains, Casal da Serra is a traditional Portuguese mountain village, and we're looking at the sort of village square. This is the central-most point. The road runs through the village down in this direction, and the property that we're looking at today is around 700 meters away from where we are right now. But before we get there, I just wanted to show you a couple of features that Casal da Serra has. This is an amazing fresh water spring. We used to get our water here, so we would come here with bottles. The water is coming straight out of the mountain, and it's nice and fresh, and it's drinking water. Now there's quite a lot of water up on this side of the Gardunha mountains. We've got a couple of these fresh springs, but there is also a big dam just up behind Casal da Serra for more water. This village has a bus stop, and yesterday when I visited the property, there was a bus here that had Castelo Branco written on it. Now I'm not sure exactly what the timetable is and how often the buses do ride from here, but you can get from here to the city of Castelo Branco in around 35 minutes. And this village also has its own old traditional church just in that direction over there. And as we head down the road and further into the village, there's another freshwater spring, and this looks like a real old one. Maybe somewhere where they could tie up horses, fill up some water, and a place on the side here where horses could have a drink. Really, really fresh, clean mountain water. There's also Café Gardunha, which is just on the side here. It's a place where you can get a pastel de nata, some coffee, a couple of beers. It also has a little mini mercado, like a little shop inside where you can buy all sorts of little odds and ends without having to go all the way to the supermarket. And again, we have lots more water. This is actually flowing out of a big dam that's just up here and coming right down the mountain. Really nice fresh water. This is actually a system that they call a lavada, so you can see there's a little split here. At the moment the water's going down here, but if you lift up this grate and put the grate in here, you can actually make the water flow in this direction, and that'll probably go through some of the gardens here in the villages, watering some of their plants. Now where this water is currently flowing, it's going underneath the road, and as we can see over here, it's going into this field where we have some really nice green healthy looking corn growing and a bunch of beautiful olive trees. So we're about to arrive at the property. As I said earlier, we're about 700 meters away. Just look at these incredible views of the Gardunha mountains. We need to go down this road and around a bit, and the property is just on this side over here. Another great thing about being up in the mountains is we have all of these trails all over the place. So we're 200 meters from Casal da Serra right now. Not sure if you can see that because of the sun. We've got a little park over here, a little picnic place, 1.8 kilometers, so 1,800 meters, just down this road over here. And we have a place called Castelo Velo, which is 3.8 kilometers away. And that's a nice little hiking trail going back in that direction. So plenty of places to go hiking, running, mountain biking, or just going for a nice leisurely stroll through the mountains. All right, so we are getting very close now. We've still got some tarred road, which is great. And we have a couple of properties around here still. There's one up just on the hill over here. This is actually our road now, leading us down to the property. Right now this track is actually okay for regular cars, as long as your car has a bit of ground clearance, but I think in the winter time, especially if there's going to be a bit of rain, this might be a little bit difficult to navigate with a regular car. Now that's not to say that you couldn't get this road fixed and put some gravel down or something like that. It might be a possibility. And after around 50 or 60 meters, we finally reached the property. And it really is a beautiful day to be up here. So we're standing on the property right now, and we're looking back at the village of Casal da Serra from where we've just come. And as I said earlier, it's around 700 meters from the village all the way here to where the property is. If you drive 8 minutes down the road, you can get to a village called Louriçal do Campo. They've got a couple of cafes, a bar, a mini mercado, a post office and a bakery. If you drive 10 minutes away, you'll get to São Vicente de Beira. And São Vicente de Beira has cafes, a restaurant, a mini mercado, which is like a little supermarket, an ATM, and also a public swimming pool. I went there last summer. I actually made a video about that, so make sure you check it out. If you drive 15 minutes away, you'll get to the village of Sueleira, which has a cafe, a bar, a restaurant. It has a little mini mercado shop. It has a building supplies yard, a hardware store, a petrol station, an ATM. And if you drive 20 minutes away, you can get to a river beach called Castelo Novo River Beach, which is one of my favorite places to go in the summertime. Now further afield, you can get to Fundão, which is a big town city with all of your shops and amenities. That's 30 minutes away. 35 minutes away is Castelo Branco, which is a really big town city, and 45 minutes away is Covilha. And all of those places are going to have all the supermarkets, shops, amenities and things that you could possibly need. In terms of transport links, you can catch buses and trains from Fundão and Castelo Branco that take you right around the country and also to other countries in Europe. You can catch planes from Porto Airport, which is only 3 hours away, from Lisbon Airport, which is 2.5 hours away. You can also get to the capital city of Spain, which is Madrid, in 4 hours, and you can get down south to the Algarve to Faro Airport in 4.5 hours. So that's the location side of it, all out the way. Let's talk about the property itself. It features a beautiful old stone ruin that is nestled up in an amazing location up in the mountains with breathtaking views looking all the way down the mountain and to the Marateca Dam. Right, so let's start the tour with the house itself. And I know that you must be thinking, this isn't a house, this is a ruin, but for the right person, this could make the most amazing home. Now, I can't really access from this point over here because at the moment I see what looks like a wasp nest or something over here. There's a lot of them going in and out. So I'm going to avoid this area because the last thing I want to do is get stung. But let me just give you some views of the house from this side. So we can see we've got some really big stones in the walls over here. The entrance is on this side. And then we also have these stone walls on the side. Now, I was speaking to people about this property and they were thinking that these were actually parts or possibly part of the house itself, so that the roof actually came over this section. Now I'm going to walk around just so that I can access it without getting stung by wasps. And as I go around the side, I can give you some views of that wall and well, the front of the property. So let's climb over here now. I'm just going to show you on the side here. So this is actually the limit of the property here. So where we've got this wall, this old stone wall, this is the limit, and it stretches down in this direction over here. And I'm going to pop up a map on the screen so you can see exactly where we are and where the borders and boundaries of the land are. All right, so I've avoided the wasps on this side over here. Now we can get a better look at the building from this side. We do have a little bit of collapse on the walls over here where some of the stones have fallen in, but the walls still look quite secure and they're all holding up quite well. I love these big granite stones around the doorway and this big slab at the bottom over here. And let's go through and have a look on the inside. Now this was recently all cleaned and cleared, so you can see we've got, I mean, this was obviously all full of like brambles and stuff, and they've cut everything back only a couple of days ago, so it's all still quite fresh. Worth noting is that I'm 5'9" and my head's just touching on the top here of the doorway. So the doorway itself is a little bit low, and perhaps it could be raised or extended a little bit, because as you can see, this is the lintel on this side here, and perhaps you could put some more rocks under there and just lift it up a little bit more. All right, so let me just walk to the other side of the barn over here so that you can see what it looks like. So we're looking back at where the front door is. The distance between this wall and this wall internally is around 6 meters, and from this wall to this side over here is around 5 meters. So we've got a space of around 30 square meters. Now there aren't any windows on this bottom section over here, but perhaps that's something that could be added, where you could take some of the bricks out or the rocks out, put a little lintel in and make some little viewing points. But from this side over here, when you look out the front door, just look how magnificent these views are. It's absolutely incredible. Now, judging by all of these old stones, I would probably say that this is a pre-1951 building. Obviously, that's something that you're going to have to check. When buying a property like this, you need a lawyer to, have a look at all the paperwork. And I've been told that this building isn't registered. So that means that when buying it, you'll need to get your lawyer to register it. They can register it as pre-1951, most likely. And that means that you can get something called a habitation license exemption. Now, this exemption is all subject to this being a pre-1951 building, but I mean, you look at these old granite stones, you can tell that they've been here for a hell of a long time. To legally live inside a house or on a property in Portugal, you need something called a habitation license. And obviously a building like this, if you get the habitation license exemption, it means that you can legally live on this piece of land over here, and you can also renovate this ruin to within its own footprint in size without needing complex planning permissions or anything like that. And this is quite a popular route for people buying property here in Portugal, because it means that you can buy a low-cost property such as this one over here and turn it into your dream home. As you can see, it's going to take quite a lot of work to turn this into a home, and it's quite skilled work as well, working with granite rocks like this. But the owner of this property is actually a stonemason, and their entire business is to do with renovating old buildings like this. So the buyer has the possibility of hiring the owner of this property to actually fix up this ruin, and they're going to have very good knowledge of this place as well. So here is a look at the house from the rear, and we can actually see as we go around this side over here, we can see that there's a bit of a collapse, which is quite sad really. But let me hop up here and give you a view inside the building from the top, so you can understand a little bit more. And then if we look over here, we've got again these amazing views just over there. And behind me, I'm just going to go to the very corner of the property and show you a view from there. Right. So as I said earlier, we've got this little stone wall that divides the property up. I'm going to go into this little corner over here so I can show you what things look like. So we do actually have a little house over there. That's one of the neighboring houses. We've got the beautiful views of the mountain. And then we've got another house, which is just over here. And these houses have all got swimming pools. They're all connected to electricity, to fiber optic broadband. And you can see that there's a very close proximity. So to get all of those municipal services across here, or at least to get them from this house over here and down here, it's not going to be too much of a stretch. There's actually electricity coming straight to the property, and I'll show you where that is now. So if we look over here, it's actually quite difficult to see, but we've got the black electricity cable just along there. You actually don't even notice it when you're on the property here. And it's only as you get a little bit lower, and then you can suddenly see the line and the blue sky. But it really isn't something that you notice much. And the actual pole is just over here. It's a concrete post. It's a very basic electricity cable. It's nothing big. It's not a big high voltage line. So from here you can actually put a little box and run electricity to the house, and then you don't have to worry about a solar system. So let's just finish off the house quickly. This is the sort of front side of the house here, and this would be the entrance. And then this is a terrace up here where you could come along the road and then you could park cars and stuff up there. And I think we should go there now. Now, as I said earlier, this is all just been trimmed. I'm not sure if you can hear, but the guys are all doing some sort of cutting work and stuff down there with the weed eaters and the trimmers. But this was all done about 3 days ago, so it's all drying up nicely. But I mean, imagine if you were to look after this place, if you actually had some nice lawns here or some nice green grass and stuff like that, it would look incredible. This is a little cork oak tree which is growing up here. And we've got another one just on this side. We have a fig tree over there. We have another little cork oak over there. And we have a couple of big ones. Look at these two big cork oaks. Now these do look like they're sort of on the other side of the wall here. So I think these cork oaks do belong to the neighbor. But they are beautiful trees, and look, they give you some nice shade. So yeah, I think this could be a good place where you could bring a car up and you could park a couple of cars here. And this could be sort of the route up. The cars can park here, and then you've got the house in the background here. And actually from this side we can see this neighboring house a little bit better on the back there. So you are nice and hidden from it, but if you do walk around you can kind of see them. But it's not heavily populated or anything like that. And then we can see a little bit of this house just on that side there. Right, so let's walk down and go and explore some of the other terraces. As we get down here, we can see we've got quite a nice flat looking terrace on this side. So it's a big flat space, and it extends around there. We do have a little bit of a drop here, but obviously these terraces haven't really been looked after. This is like an abandoned old piece of land. So, you know, this is not something, you know, this has been cut now, but this probably only happens once a year in the summertime, so that there's not like a fire risk. But I think if this was kept well, it could look amazing. Now, one of the most important things about owning a property like this is your water supply. How are you going to grow trees and how are you going to grow vegetables and things like that if you don't have running water? And as I said earlier, there's lots of water up here on the mountain. And this property also has a spring. And the spring is just below where the house is, just on this side over here. It's fresh water that's coming out of the mountain. Now, bear in mind that, as I said earlier, the houses just up here, all along the road, they all have municipal water. They have all of the municipal services. So, you know, you don't have to use spring water as your water source for the property. You could probably get water piped from the municipal services to the property here. And there's also options of using things like a borehole. Now, I know that this looks a little bit weird right now, but bear in mind that this property was abandoned and left for quite a long time. Underneath here is a spring, and I'll show you now. So we just got to lift these up. This has been put in place so that things don't fall in here. Just gonna put these on the side. And when this was all cut and trimmed the other day, lots of sand and stuff has fallen into here, so it's not looking the prettiest right now. But let me just give you an idea of what this looks like. We have a massive spider over there. Wow, I don't know if you can see it, but he is a big one. I'm putting the little light on him now from my watch. But I don't think you have to worry. There aren't any sort of dangerous spiders or snakes or anything like that here in Portugal. There's 2 snakes that are potentially, well, that are venomous, but you know, they're not really going to cause you much of a problem. It's not like you need like anti-venoms and stuff. And then obviously the spiders are quite harmless. So this looks like a well, right? It's not actually a well. What they've done is they've put these concrete rings down here to try and see if they can dam up some of the water that's coming from the spring. And then they've got a little pipe over there, and that pipe goes underneath the ground here and actually goes to a little tank over there, so it's filling up a tank. Now I suspect that this hasn't been done very well, because I can see, well, there's cracks in the rings, and also the rings aren't fitting properly. So I think this is probably leaking, and what you need to do down here is probably give it a clean and put some clay or something at the bottom so that the water isn't just leaking out, and obviously fix up the rings here or try and grout them in so that in the winter time when this fills up, it's going to retain water. Now bear in mind that this is the end of summer and there actually still is water inside these tanks. There's actually spring water running down here, and I'll show that to you now. If we look down this section, this is where the pipe comes through, and then the spring runs into this little pond area here. Alright, so let me climb down there. Just got to get down onto that terrace. Actually, as we go down here, look, we've got some, this is an apple tree, and well, this is an apple tree. I think they might both be apple trees. I can see a little apple on there. Obviously they haven't been pruned or anything like that in ages, so they do need a little bit of TLC. But yeah, look at this. So this is all the spring water that's pulled up in here. There is a lot of floating plant on the top here, but I think if you clear that, you're going to get nice clear water. It's going to be spring water. And let me just climb down this embankment over here and show you this dam from this side. Cool, look at that. So they've made a little wall using what looks like tijolo bricks, and we can see a lot of the water just dripping down here. So we do have a flowing spring, and as I said, bear in mind this is the end of summer. This is like the driest time of year, and the spring is still running. Now I imagine that in the winter time, when it's much wetter, the spring is going to be much more. It might even be coming down here like a little river or a little stream or something. And you can see they've actually made like a little stream going off to the side here. And if we walk down to this side, I think there's another spring coming out of the mountain there. Look at this, we've got another big tree that looks like a plum tree or something. We've actually got 2 of them. We have a little fig over there, some more fruit trees. I'm not sure exactly what they are, just up on this side. And we have a couple of olive trees. And then let me just take you to this little spring area. So the water seems to be running from there and along here, and we've got a little bit of spillover coming out here, and then it runs through here down to there and across. And actually there's another little wall here, so it looks like they've dammed up another section, and there is actually water down there. And then if you look into here, this almost looks like what they call a water mine, where there's actually a furrow going into the rocks where you can have a spring coming out, and obviously they dam up these different sections. And that's pretty cool because it gives you the option of having water that you can channel through these terraces. So from these terraces here you could make little channels and grow vegetables and stuff down here. And you know, even in the summer, even in like the harshest time of year, you've got water just trickling through the land and keeping it nice and moist. Right, so I'm just going to walk into the very corner over here. I'll show you on a map exactly where we are right now. And then look at these views. So this is the very edge of the property over here. We've got the stone wall, and this drops off into the neighboring land here. We've got lots of ferns and everything. This is indicative of the fact that there's obviously water, so the spring's running through here. Very green and lush. And then look at these views. Amazing. Behind the mimosa trees over here is obviously the view of the rest of the buildings of Casal da Serra, but it's quite a nice view from up here. And let me just spin you around so you can see what this terrace looks like. And as I said earlier, you know, if you clean this up, you've got the water sources right here and you can channel them, and maybe this is a perfect place to be growing like lots of veggies and stuff like that. The ground actually goes a little bit lower down there, so you could definitely channel water and let gravity take it all over the place. So I'm going to walk along here a little bit, show you the rest of this terrace. These are all old piles of brush and stuff from the years, and obviously the new owner would need to come here and pile this all up in the wet season, and then you can make a bonfire and burn it all. But yeah, I think it's got a lot of potential, most definitely, especially with that. Look at that. That is a lovely view. I imagine that at night time, when it's all dark, all of these little lights come on, these little amber lights, and you can see them all twinkling, and you can hear the church bells, and yeah, just that's going to be a really good view to look at. Now in terms of trees, we also have some big cork oaks. I mean, look at this one, that is massive. I don't even know, what is that? That's like 7-8 meters tall. This one over here is probably 6 meters tall, 6-7. We've got some nut trees. Let's go and have a look at those. So if we walk through this side over here, look again, this is very, you know, this is only just being cut. So everything's very rough. But you know, if you buy a piece of land like this and you tend to it and you look after it, I think this could be beautiful. Here are some nut trees. Look at these. Are these hazelnuts? I've forgotten the name. Is this hazelnut? It's the ones with the spiky balls. And then we got some fruit trees over here. I'm not sure exactly what type these are, maybe peach or something. And we've got another nut tree, look, a really nice big one over there. Cool, so let's go into that corner over there. Oh, and look at this. There's some figs. These look really nice, look at that. These look ready to go. Wow, it's all soft and squishy. Perfection. Now, I think this is the corner of the property. I'll pop up a map now so you can see where we are. I'm not sure if these rocks belong to the property or not. Obviously, the borders and boundaries of the land have been given to me by the seller, but obviously anyone buying this property will need a property lawyer to have a good look at all the documentation and everything and make sure that you know exactly where all the borders and boundaries are. I'm pretty sure that this is going to be the property, but I'm not sure if this section I'm standing on right now is. But yeah, from here we can see we've got a neighbor just down here. So this is a neighboring piece of land, and it's an old guy who's a farmer. I actually saw him a couple of days ago when I was here. So he's looking out for this, he's looking after it. So yeah, that's your sort of closest neighbor over there. And well, if he's anything like all the other old Portuguese farmers and mountain village people that I've met, he's going to be a lovely dude, and he's going to make an amazing neighbor. Right, so this is kind of like the far corner over here. I've been told that the limits of the property are where they've trimmed to, so where it's been cut. They've obviously cut around the trees and everything here, but I'm guessing that this is going to be the limit over here, and then extending up in this direction. And this is very rough, and you know, brambles and stuff, so I'm not going to walk through there. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up there now, and I'm going to start the video from that point. So we're up top now. This is where we were standing. We're all the way up here, and let's just have another look back on this terrace section over here and back to where the house is. Now, I just realized that I haven't actually told you the size of the property. Now, because it's a private seller, you know, obviously I'm not an estate agent, I'm not a property lawyer. I can't, you know, I don't go through the documents or anything. I just go by what I'm told. And what I've been told is that this land is actually split up into 3 articles. There's 3 different deeds to the property. One of the articles has the house and around 800 square meters. Then there's another article with another 800 square meters. And then I've been told that there's another article just down on this side over here, which is about 150 square meters. So in total, you're looking at about 1,750 square meters. And another thing I want to mention is that this road, the road that actually runs through this property over here, this is a public road. This is a public track. It does go past the house over here, so it does actually split the property in 2. But every time I've been here, this is the 3rd time I've been here, and I've spent hours at a time getting to know this place, and I haven't seen a single car come down here. In fact, this road is only to service this little farm down here. So, you know, the farmer just down here is probably going to use this with a tractor or something like that. And I just want to take you down here for a bit because I want to show you what they've done with their electricity setup. So you can see we've got the electricity pole here, and they've built this little box. And in the box he obviously has his electrical meter and all the connections and things like that. So I think that's something that you can do on the pole that's just outside the house over there. Build a little box and send mains electricity right to the house. And then I've been told that there is one other house that's just down this road over here. And apparently that house also has another access. So this isn't their only access. And as I said, I haven't seen anyone using this. So probably they're using the other access, because that other access actually takes them straight to the village and straight to the proper tarred road on that side. So yeah, what a beautiful day and what a great little property to have a look around. If you are interested in buying this place, I'm not an estate agent. I don't sell properties. I only make property tour videos. So you're going to need to contact the seller directly. I'm going to put their contact details in the video description below and also the pinned comment on YouTube. And if you're a buyer that's looking for a video tour of a property in Portugal so that you can shortlist places before you get here, then drop me an email at okportugal@hotmail.com. I'll also put it in the video description below. Send me a link to the property you want me to video and I can give you a quote. So thanks for joining me on this video tour. I hope you've enjoyed it and we'll see you next time for another one. All the best. Ciao.